Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. I appreciate you being here as we dive into some Star Wars news in this episode of Review Flicks. So, we're going to be talking about Patty Jenkins. It looks like in a turn of events, she is coming back to direct Rogue Squadron, which we're going to dive into all that news right here in this video. But yeah, it looks like Lucasfilm and kind of Star Wars as a whole is in major flux. They've been throwing Star Wars projects at us left, right, and center, but then we sort of hear about these projects and then they kind of disappear. We've had the Rian Johnson projects, and we've had Kevin Feige and Taika Waititi, Patty Jenkins. We've had this Rey movie, and it's kind of like they come out, announce these projects, and then they kind of fade away into the background, and then we don't actually know if they're happening or not. But it seems like Patty Jenkins is back to direct Rogue Squadron, which I'm really happy about. It's one of the projects that I was more enthusiastic about. But let's go down and read about what's going on. So Patty Jenkins returns to helm Star Wars Rogue Squadron, movie getting back on track. So after a prolonged stint in development limbo, that seems to be happening with all the Star Wars projects at the moment, as I've sort of named at the beginning. So Star Wars Rogue Squadron is revving its engines once again. Director Patty Jenkins has offered a glimmer of hope for the project. In a recent interview with Collider, the Wonder Woman helmet revealed that she's back in the saddle, actively writing for a long-awaited film. This update arrives more than 3 years after the initial announcement of Jenkins' involvement in the Rogue Squadron project, which was later followed by its removal from its release calendar in 2022. I was so disappointed when I heard that. Jenkins also disclosed her return to venture after DC scrapped her proposed Wonder Woman 1984 sequel. Wonder Woman 1984 is just an absolute trash heap. It should be burned. It should be put in a vault, dropped in the sea, never to be seen again. That movie is just awful. However, her progress hit a snag due to the Writers Guild of America strike in 2023. Yeah, we're still feeling the effects now. I mean, like Batman just came out, that was announced. That movie's being pushed back an entire year because of the knock-on effect of the strikes. So Hollywood is still very much feeling the effects of those two major strikes that happened. So we have a quote here from Patty Jenkins. So when I left Star Wars to do Wonder Woman 3, I thought maybe I'll come back to Star Wars after Wonder Woman 3, Jenkins explained. So we did a deal for that to happen, started a deal, but I thought I was doing Wonder Woman. When that went away, Lucasfilm and I were like, oh, we got to finish this deal. We finished the deal right as the strike was happening, so now I owe a draft of Star Wars, and so we'll see what happens there, like who knows. So yeah, apparently because of the strike, she was going to do Wonder Woman, and then it turns out she wasn't. Then she was going to start doing a draft for this upcoming Rogue Squadron movie, but then the strikes happened, so she couldn't write anything, and now it looks like she's back on the project, writing again for this Rogue Squadron project. So, happy days. Great picture here. You remember that announcement of the Rogue Squadron movie where, she was on the runway at like an airport to some degree, and there was an X-Wing in the background. She puts on the TIE fighter suit, and then she gets into the cockpit and puts the helmet on. It was a pretty damn cool announcement, but like I say, from that announcement, 3 years later, and we still don't have the movie, we don't have a script, we don't know anything about it. Kind of crazy times, and it goes to show what kind of a mess Lucasfilm is in at the moment. So, though Patty Jenkins has returned to work on her Rogue Squadron screenplay, she's approaching the project with caution, understandably so, considering she had previously departed for another movie that ultimately got shelved. Jenkins pointed out that amidst several Star Wars movies in active development at Lucasfilm, Rogue Squadron might not be high on their priority list currently. Nevertheless, the fact that Lucasfilm still values Jenkins' script and hasn't outright cancelled the project is an encouraging sign. So we have another quote here from Patty Jenkins. It's hard, they have a hard job in front of them, and what's the first movie they're going to do, she said. They have other directors who have been working, but I am now, I am back on Rogue Squadron, and we'll see what happens. We need to develop, get it to where we're both super happy with it. So they're currently in very, very early, pre-production stages of getting this film together. They want to write a treatment for the movie that both Patty Jenkins and kind of Lucasfilm are happy with. So it's very, very early days, even though it's been an entire 3 years since that announcement, which again is absolutely just crazy, crazy stuff. But Rogue Squadron, having this kind of movie about fighter pilots, so it's kind of like, yeah, like a Star Wars fighter pilot movie where, we get to see the daily life of these guys who pilot these X-Wings. And like, I think it would just be a super cool concept for a movie. Really, really fun. Patty Jenkins would fulfill a dream directing Rogue Squadron. So, reflecting on her long-standing ambition to create a fighter pilot film, Patty Jenkins expressed her admiration for the beauty and emotional depth inherent in Star Wars universe. Well, yeah, that's why many fans are still attached to this universe, 40, 50 years after it first debuted, because of the rich, in-depth kind of lore behind the universe is so expansive. It appeals to people of all ages, all backgrounds, all ethnicities. It doesn't matter who you are, you can sit down and enjoy Star Wars, regardless of, your circumstances. So, she highlighted its relevance, particularly in today's context, noting how Star Wars emerged from the backdrop of World War II, employing metaphorical storytelling. Jenkins emphasized her lifelong desire to craft a fighter pilot movie, aligning with her creative aspirations. As for now, the release date of Star Wars Rogue Squadron has yet to be determined, and this comes from Collider. So, yeah, that's kind of where we are. It's a kind of a turn of events. We thought that the Rogue Squadron movie had kind of faded into the distance, like a lot of Star Wars projects that they've been announcing and then kind of disappearing. It's hard to get excited about Star Wars because every time they announce something now, it's kind of like, is this project actually going to happen? Or are they just going to announce something, get fans excited, and then just to find out that the project has fallen through the cracks and we're never going to hear about it again? So, even though she is back on writing this project, guys, I wouldn't get your hopes up, I wouldn't kind of anticipate anything until we actually get a confirmed release date. I wouldn't get that excited about it. We don't know if it's still going to happen. So, just kind of sit back and just be hopeful. If you are interested that this movie actually comes to fruition, I think it would be great. Fighter pilots in the Star Wars universe, I think it would be super, super awesome to see this. But guys, jump into the comment section. Let me know what you think about this. Are you excited for the upcoming Rogue Squadron movie, if it ever gets made? And are you excited that Patty Jenkins is back writing on it, or would you prefer a different director? Let me know all your thoughts, comments, and opinions in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon.